What was it like down there when the ruling came out?
Well, I was in the press room, so I didn't get to see the courtroom in motion, but one of my colleagues, Megan O'Neill, tells me that there were people crying. There was an audible gasp from one woman who obviously supported same-sex marriage. A very emotional scene. Out here, outside the court, it's like a party. People who support same-sex marriage clearly thrilled by today's decisions.
And talk a little bit about the Defense of Marriage Act. The justices were relatively split on this one. Explain the outcome.
Right, that was a 5-4 decision along kind of familiar lines. Justice Anthony Kennedy joined the court's 4 Democratic appointees to strike the law down. He said it violates equal protection to take a marriage that a state says is a legitimate marriage and demean it by denying those couples the same federal benefits that opposite-sex married couples get.
And you mentioned that there was a split there in the court, really down, in essence, party lines. Are you hearing any chatter about complaints about an activist court?
Not in quite the same way that we had today, or at least it's coming from different people in the same way it happened yesterday. Yesterday they struck down the Voting Rights Act, or a key component of it, and then it was the conservatives who voted to overturn an act of Congress. And you had complaints from the liberal wing saying that it was an activist court. Now it's sort of the other way, where the court it's the conservative justices who were saying the court overstepped its bounds and should not have supplanted Congress's judgment here.
And Greg, can you shed some light on the difference here between effectively the headline, which is Defense of Marriage Act is struck down, versus, in effect, remanding the Proposition 8 vote in California back to California? Can you shed some light on that difference?
Sure. Well, the substantive stuff, and what we heard David Boies saying before you turned to me, he was talking about the substance of what the court said about why the Defense of Marriage Act is unconstitutional and denies equal protection to same-sex married couples. In the California case, they basically ducked the constitutional question. They didn't decide whether there's a right nationwide to have same-sex marriage, or even in California. They issued a procedural ruling that said the defenders of the ban, this ballot initiative known as Prop 8, didn't have the legal right to appeal, and the effect of that was to reinstate a trial judge's ruling that said Prop 8 is unconstitutional.
And what happens now to that Prop 8 decision?
Well, just a few minutes ago, Governor Jerry Brown came out and said that as soon as these decisions are finalized, California county clerks should begin issuing same-sex marriage licenses. There may still be some legal challenges. There may be county clerks who object. There's always a possibility of some other legal wrangling. But by and large, we are looking at same-sex marriage beginning again in California in about a month.
Greg, what's next in this step in the search for gay marriage? I mean, I remember 10 years ago, we were just talking about civil unions. We weren't even taking this marriage step here in the same-sex marriage quest. What's next?
It's a good question. We're still at the state-by-state area. The court did not get to the question of whether, as I said, there's a nationwide right to same-sex marriage. So you're going to see proponents going from, trying to find other states where they can either get ballot initiatives passed or legislatures to pass laws allowing same-sex marriage. And no doubt we're going to get to a point where we're already there, where a lot of states don't have it, a lot of states do, and this issue will come back up to the Supreme Court, where they will be asked to order the other states to allow same-sex marriage.